It's a funny old world. Strange things happen all of the time in it. Little things and big things. And a little strange thing happened right here at the channel just yesterday. I did a video yesterday about 5 different websites, my preferred go-to websites to find information about sneakers. And top of the list for me is Sneaker News. That's my favorite place to get information, to get news, to get details and to find out more about the upcoming sneaker releases. Not just what's coming, but also the story behind them. And one of the reasons I did that video was because basically there was nothing coming down the line that I was all that interested in. I was like looking at the upcoming releases thinking, oh man, there's not really much on the horizon, so what can I do? And I thought, you know what, I'll go down that route, do a special video for you guys out there. So definitely worth checking out that video. But there's 2 strange things to come out of it. One is that today on the sneakers app here in Tokyo, Japan, this shoe, the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro Abstract Art, dropping on July the 31st, which is like perfect. You know, today is July the 21st, and this will probably go up on July 23rd, maybe 24th, so about a week ahead of the drop date, which is exactly where I want to be. I want to be able to talk to you guys a week or 10 days before the drop date, so you can work out what it is about this shoe that you like and whether you want to actually go after it or not. Try and get that W on the sneakers app, which never happens with the beautiful shoes like these. But we can see it's a draw. It's one of those ones that has a draw. It's not just a straight up who clicks the button first. It's a 10-minute draw to enter and see whether you can get yourself a pair. July 31st, like I said, and that's the sneakers app here in Tokyo, Japan. But it was interesting because of that video yesterday. I was doing it because not much interesting is coming down the line, and as soon as I make that video, something massively interesting is coming down the line. It's got a draw on it, which means it's rare, and there aren't that many shoes out there to aim for, so it's got to be a big shoe that a lot of people are interested in. So that's kind of weird. It's weird, it's strange that just having said there's nothing coming down the line, bang, less than 24 hours later, there's something coming down the line. And then yesterday I did the 5 favourite places of mine, my go-to places to get information about sneakers. 1 Japanese site, because I am here in Japan, and then 4 English-speaking sites. And I couldn't find this sneaker because I saw it on the sneakers app, and I was looking for it on my go-to site, Sneaker News, and I couldn't find it there, at least not in any great detail with any particularly good pictures like the one we've had up behind me here on the green screen. And then I found a really good article about it with really good pictures and information about it on House of Heat, which there's a website that didn't make it into my top 5 at all. And I'm sure people in yesterday's video will be dropping comments about saying, you know, what about House of Heat? Have you thought about going over there and checking out their stuff? So less than 24 hours later, here I am using House of Heat to get information about shoes. So it's kind of weird that yesterday's video was so like, this is how things are going, and then today it's like, I'm going in a completely different direction. And it's just funny how the world and the universe sort of throws up things like that, and you kind of get sidetracked or sent in a different direction they thought we were going. So not much coming down the line. Yes, something massive coming down the line. Get all my information from Sneaker News? No. Here's House of Heat as the place to get Sneaker News. Didn't talk about them at all in yesterday's video. So so a funny little sort of quirk that brings us to this shoe today. But what an absolutely massive shoe. It's an incredible shoe. I'm going to just go with, is it Piet Parra? And that's not how you pronounce his name. I'm almost 100% certain that's not how you pronounce his name. If I remember rightly, he's a Dutch graphic artist, and he's already got previous with the Dunk line. I think in 2019 he brought out a collaboration with the Dunk line, and then here we are 2 years later with another collaboration, kind of similar to the previous one in colours, but the overlays on this shoe is ridiculously over-designed, and it's that abstract art element that comes in, and we'll have a look at that in a second. But he's a Dutch artist, and I don't think you pronounce his name as Piet Parra, but that's the best I can do is to say that. It's like something like Piet Parra or something like that, but me and Dutch pronunciation not going to happen anytime soon. So but a great you know, collaboration. There's some really beautiful details that come out of this shoe, and especially in terms of that collaboration and using that collaboration as a vehicle to do some interesting stuff on a dunk that I've never seen done before, which is great when they have these unique elements on the shoe that can sort of set it apart from all the other amazing collaborations that are out there with the Dunk line. So like I said, Nike SB Dunk Low Pro collaborations with Piet Parra, called the abstract art. It's all about that line, the overlays, having that abstract art on there. So here's my take on this shoe. Here's what I see going on. We're going to start with the heel. Now there's an obvious thing on the heel and there's a less obvious thing on the heel. We'll start with the obvious thing that everybody pretty much should know about with this shoe is you can see that the branding is different from the left and the right shoe. On the right shoe you've got the Nike branding as standard up there in that small branding panel, and it's white, I think I'm right in saying, on that abstract art background. But then on the left shoe you've got Piet Parra's name. Is it just Parra on the back there, and in that little branding panel, very different to the Nike branding, which is chunky and solid, whereas it's kind of like cursive writing and handwritten on the left shoe. So that's the main obvious detail that the Nike branding is missing from just one of the branding panels on the back. And that's a really neat little touch that they've gone with Nike on one and then the collaboration on the other, instead of both Nike or both the collaboration. But more important than that to me, and that detail I don't know if people are picking up on, is that you can really see in the heel that the left and the right shoes are mirrors of each other. I was not expecting to see the shoes mirrored in each other. I thought the abstract art would be wild in those overlays and there would be no connections, but hopefully if you really look at it, and this picture behind it is doing justice to this, you can see that the left shoe and the right shoe have exactly the same detailing in those overlays, that abstract art, the positioning of it, the colouring of it, the size of the blobs and the different shapes in there are actually mirrored from the left and the right shoe to each other, which is not what I was expecting. So hopefully that's very, very obvious there. And then if we go forward and have a look, I think at the toe, you get a sense at the toe, looking left and right, that you can see the two different patterns that are mirrored on the left and the right shoes. So there's a real sort of echo effect, a mirror effect on the left and the right shoes, except one place. There's one place where you get that abstract art on this shoe, and for some reason it's the only place where they haven't mirrored it, and it's totally unique on the left and the right shoe. Everywhere else it seems like if you have a blue blob on the lateral side of the right shoe and the quarter line, you have exactly the same blue blob on the lateral side of the left shoe on the quarter line. Like they're exactly the same placement, color, size, everything. So it's a mirror of each other, except on the tongues. So we're up on the tongues now. Surprised to see very standard Nike Swoosh SB Dunk Low Pro branding up there for a collaboration. Get to that in a second, but first let's have a look at the patterning on that tongue branding up there, and you can see there's no match at all. There's no mirror effect, there's no copy effect. They're just totally different branding styles and different design styles up there on that branding panel. It's the only place I could see on this shoe where the left and the right shoes have a different story to tell and a different design to tell. And the thing that struck me about it, like I said, the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro up there, is that recently, especially with highs to be honest, not so much with lows, but recently that SB Dunk Low Pro underneath the branding has been removed and replaced with the collaboration, and that's something I was expecting to see at the top of these guys, either that having the tongue branding match the heel branding and Parra on one side and Nike SB on the other, or having you know, like the Nike SB and swoosh up high, and then down below where it says Dunk Low Pro, instead of that, take that out and have either abstract art, the name of the shoe, or Piet Parra, the name of the artist. But it doesn't have either of those. Very simple branding up on the tongue on that very unmirrored branding panel. And then back from that, it's not too far to go to have a look at the insole, where we do see the unique branding of the Nike SB and the Piet Parra side by side on the inside of these guys on that insole with the abstract art on there. But more important than the branding on the insole to me are two different things. One is the lining, which is a very beautiful, almost kind of teal feel, deep blue. It's like a deep aqua blue teal color on the lining of these guys, but then also around the outside edge of the tongue you see the piping on there done in that same abstract art style. So very cool details at the top end of the shoe. And the last thing to look at before we go down low on the shoe to finish this video with two big hits in the outsoles is front and center on the lateral side, right at the front of the shoe on the toe. They've embedded some swooshes in the patterning on there, which is very, very unusual in Nike SB Dunk Lows. I've seen it on Air Force Ones, for example, and I've seen it on some other shoes. I'm trying to remember what they are. Maybe Air Max 90s, especially when it's a premium shoe. They'll put a swoosh really far forward on the lateral side, but I haven't seen it on Dunks. So it's an interesting detail to see in there, adding to the story of the shoe. And there was something else, there's one more thing I wanted to think about before. Yeah, it was the swooshes on the side are a big detail on these guys. And I'm not sure how many people will be picking up on this, but there's two things on there. One is that the material that they're made of is it seems to be a more treated leather. Everything else on the shoe is very smooth and neat and kind of boxed in and very straight and fine and clean edges. But the swoosh seems to be a little bit more treated black leather on there. And also, it's a real shortened swoosh. Usually a swoosh on a Dunk Low would like taper off onto the back end of the heel, but these guys it stops short right at the midpoint of the back half of the shoe. So it's an interesting sort of size and dimensions of the swoosh on there. And then the final thing to do, like I said, flip them upside down and look at the two massive details. One is a gum sole, which everybody really loves to see on their shoes. Sometimes I think gum soles don't really work and don't fit in with the story of the shoe, but this one it does fit in quite well. And what I really like about it is the last point on this video is the middle branding panel on there is done in this beautiful wine color that matches the above. So you've got the lining above in that kind of teal, and then that wine panel on the outsole below, which kind of reflects the two major colors in the abstract art of the whole shoe. And that's my entire look at this shoe, the upcoming release on July the 31st of the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro abstract art from Piet Parra. Oh, I forgot about the aglets. Quick look at the aglets there, because they've got a bit of detailing on them as well with that branding. When I said Piet Parra's name there, I was like, oh, I remember there's a little bit of extra branding on the shoe in that place in the aglets there. So time to finish up this video. We'll just wrap up another one for today. It's late at night, I'm really tired, but we're starting a 4-day weekend here right now, and the Olympics are just around the corner too. So they've already started some of the sports, but the opening ceremony is going to be in about maybe 36 hours time, so something to look forward to. For now though, time to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for checking out the content, and the only thing left to do is to do the thing that I say at the end of every single video, which is I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.